So you are thinking about listing your property, but you're not really sure how to go about doing that, what questions to ask an agent, and what to do to make sure that the person who's going to be handling this transaction is going to do a phenomenal job at doing it quickly, for the most amount of money, and at the least amount of inconvenience to you throughout this entire transaction. So if that's something you are interested in knowing a little bit more about, stay to the end of this video as we go through exactly what you should be asking your agent during a listing presentation. My name is Andre, and I am a real estate expert here in Brooksville, Spring Hill, Florida. And today we are talking about how to have a conversation with your agent and what you should really be thinking about when you list your home. So here we go. This conversation was prompted over a listing that I saw where I was looking through the pictures, just kind of checking it out, because I'm always thinking about my clients and homes and what matches for them and things like that. And I saw that the photograph was taken by the agent with their cell phone and the reflection in the mirror. So I can see the agent with their phone in the mirror. Now, I'm not trying to throw shade at anybody, but also when you're talking about a $400,000 or $500,000 transaction, I think we can do a little bit better than cell phones. And so it prompted me to kind of think about what kind of questions should a list or a seller have when it comes to agents. So here we go. So the first thing is you want to have a rapport or some sort of connection with the agent that you're going to be working with. So a lot of times an agent's going to reach out to you for, a lot of different reasons and try to introduce themselves to you. Or maybe you can get a referral from somebody that you know of a team that has a good track record in the community, okay? So once you have that established, then you're going to set an appointment with the agent, and for them to either come to your house, take a look at the house, or maybe you give them some information so that they can have some market analysis prepared before that they show up at the door, because they need to know a little bit more about your property, make sure that they can properly evaluate it to give some sort of value. So this could be over multiple conversations. This could even be over multiple meetings. So once that's kind of like established and they have the information they need to get to work, now we're going to go into the meeting. So the one thing you're going to want to ask, so the first thing you want to ask is, how is the property going to be marketed? Okay, so if somebody says to you, hey, we put it on the MLS and then it goes to all of these websites, maybe we do a little bit of advertising and things like that, that is the norm. That is pretty standard. Putting it on an MLS is not exactly anything rocket science oriented. And what the MLS is, a multiple listing service that allows these listings to go out and feed into things like Zillow, Realtor, things like that. One thing you probably don't know about it is that in our area, there are multiple of these. So you want to make sure that someone's going to list it in all of the MLSs. So you have the Hernando County MLS, you have Stellar MLS, you might have Citrus MLS. So there's other MLSs that need to be added. So when you're on the end site of like a Zillow or Realtor.com, you're actually getting all of the information from the MLS. So you might even be in a better position when someone is a buyer, them going just to Zillow and find the properties, because the value is not there. That's not where the value is. The other thing you want to ask them about the marketing plan is, are they aggressively going to be seeking out a buyer, or are they going to just post it on a bunch of websites, host maybe an open house here or there, sit back, relax, and wait for a buyer to come to them? That's not exactly the best use of your resources. You want somebody that's going to aggressively go get somebody. So they may have a lead database or a database that allows them to match potential buyers to your listing. Okay, so you want to make sure that you know that. The next question you're going to want to ask is whether or not that agent is working independently. They're all got to be part of a brokerage, but are they working as a solo agent or are they working as part of a team? And here's why that's important. When you have a single agent or a solo agent, they are responsible for everything themselves. So they're going to have to get all the information, put it all into the MLS, do all the photography, do all of the different things. So either they're going to outsource it or they're going to do it themselves. And that's fine, but I'm just saying that's one person doing a variety of jobs. Or you can have somebody who works on a team. In a team-based approach, you have multiple people who are working on transactions. So you could have someone who's a listing coordinator, whose job it is to put these on the MLS. You could have somebody who's a transaction coordinator, somebody whose job it is to manage all elements of the transaction. You could have a photographer hired. You could have marketing experts hired. So there could be a team of people that work together to list your property and have ultimately different expertise levels in different areas that are leveraged to make sure that you are getting the maximum amount of exposure and value when it comes to your listing. Okay. So now that we've gotten the idea, is somebody going to aggressively market your listing? Go find you a buyer? Are they working as a team or as an individual? Then as the photography goes, are they going to have a professional photographer come in and take pictures? In addition to the photography, I do think that professional photography should be at the bare minimum standard if they're going to do anything. Then it is, are they going to have a video tour? Are they going to do some sort of video-based kind of approach to it? Are they going to do any sort of interactive floor plan or anything? What extra on top of the photography are they going to do? Are they going to give you advice in terms of cleanup, staging, proper way to have your home look when it comes to listing? If you don't believe me that makes a difference, go on Zillow and start looking at homes in your price point of what you're trying to sell and see what you feel about them when you see them. If they look good and they're professionally photographed, they are more appealing. And that is what buyers are looking at. They are looking at things through their eyes. They want to make sure, or they want to feel something when they're looking at that listing or that photography, to make sure that they want to go see that home. They want to see it in person. Okay. So now you've got the photography thing. Now all that stuff is handled. You had that conversation. Now let's talk a little bit about pricing strategy. So the reality is that a seller can say, I want to list my home for X amount of dollars, and they believe that their home is worth that much. But you, as the agent or the person that you're talking to, has to make a compelling case and show what they believe the fair market value is of that home, and be able to articulate that to you in a way that makes sense. Because at the end of the day, an overpriced home is going to help sell your neighbor's home. It's going to help your competition. So if you don't have somebody that's willing to respectfully and professionally articulate all of those things in a manner that you can then digest it, understand it, and make an informed decision, then that person is just going to be a yes person, and you're going to struggle in this whole process. Because the idea is, an improperly priced home, if it sits on the market for X amount of time or too long on the market, there starts to be, I don't want to say red flags about it, but that's what people perceive. People are going to perceive that there's something wrong the longer that there is on market. People are going to perceive all of these different ideas about your property that aren't even true. That they don't know that. They're only going by what they see. Now, here's another one that you should ask and you should look at. Should you do a pre-listing inspection? Now, here's why I would say that you should consider doing a pre-listing inspection. Because once you get an offer and you go through the inspection period, I think one of the more gut-wrenching things to have to go through is to not know the condition of your home and what's going to come up on that inspection report. And now, while every single inspector is very different in how they look at things, they're going to catch major items. And the more you are prepared as a seller to understand when someone may be asking for a credit, or what credits you're willing to even give, or whether or not you want to do the repairs before someone even brings it up, that pre-inspection report is going to give you all of the information that you need in order to properly say to a buyer's agent, hey, this home has been inspected, we're good to go. We've had a 4-point, we know exactly what's going on, or we're prepared to provide a seller credit for this amount because we're not willing to do it right now, or hey, we're doing this and it's going to be installed prior to closing. The more armed you are as a seller's agent, or as a seller working with an agent with information to combat the objections or the asks or the wants of a buyer's side, the better prepared you are to get to the closing table. Because at the end of the day, that's what you want. You want to get to the closing table, and you want to get to that closing table closing table, getting the most amount of money possible in the least amount of time it takes to sell the home and for the least amount of hassle that you have to do to get there. Now, if you are proactively addressing these steps, what you'll see is you're going to see a reduction in the not serious buyers backing out. Now, does it guarantee that a buyer won't back out of a deal? That's not a guarantee, but at least you will be prepared and not blindsided by some of the things that might occur. So the more you're able to proactively address the issues, you want to maximize the value of your house. You need an aggressive agent who's going to go find you a buyer using professional marketing strategies that go above and beyond just listing a home and sitting back and waiting for something to happen. You're going to want to have a pre-inspection done. That's my recommendation. So you know what issues your house has that you may not even be aware of that you're going to have to deal with that might cause a buyer to walk. And then you're going to want to have a rapport with this person so that they can appropriately guide you through this process, because at the end of the day, yes, it is your home. But if you're trying to get top dollar, you are either going to be putting yourself in a position where you are going to be advised by someone to help you get this done, or you're going to put yourself in a position where you are going to help your neighbor sell their house by overpricing yours so that your neighbor's home looks more attractive when it comes to buyers looking at it. So at the end of the day, if all of this sounded interesting to you and you think that what I'm saying makes a lot of sense, we work for the Adams Group. We have over 65-star reviews on Google. We can make this happen for you. All you need to do is use the description to book a calendar invite, set an appointment with me. We can have a conversation about your goals when it comes to listing a property and what you're trying to do, and make sure that it is the right thing for you in this moment. Again, my name is Andre. I'm with eXp Realty, and I hope that this information was valuable to you. And until next time, I will see you in the next video.